Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 19th of January. Following McShane, today we read Nehemiah chapter 9. It's a prayer by the people in Jerusalem after the beginning of the rebuilding of Jerusalem. And it's an interesting prayer. It looks back over what God has done for the people over the years and how he's led them and cared for them and been compassionate. And then it begins to recognize that they have not done what they were called to do. And they have turned away and they have got it wrong. And I'm struck by verse 33 where they say, "In all that has happened to us, you have remained righteous. You have acted faithfully while we acted wickedly." God remains righteous and God acts faithfully. It's us that gets things wrong, which is interesting because it was people praying in a city that had been destroyed with most of the people still in exile, in a desperate situation, and essentially saying, you'd warned us and we didn't listen, and this has happened and you were just doing what you said. We didn't listen. And indeed it continues and says, our kings, our leaders, our priests, and our ancestors did not follow your law. They did not pay attention to your commands or the statutes you warned them to keep. They did not pay attention to God's word, and they suffered the consequence. And on the one hand, that's a warning to us. We need to pay attention to God's word because there are consequences. We might not see them in the short term, but ultimately the books will be opened and the accounts will be settled. Jesus himself makes that very clear. At the end of the time, there will be judgment. And people will recognize that God is faithful and just, and he has done all things right. But it also is a comfort to us because God's unchanging. He isn't fickle. He doesn't act in this way today and differently tomorrow and in another way. The situations, though they change, God remains exactly the same. And for me, that's an encouragement that the God that we see in the Bible is the God that we worship. He hasn't changed. He is loving. He is compassionate. He is gracious, he is kind, he is just. He reveals his will to us. He holds us to account. That is all there. But he is unchanging. And therefore we can trust him. We can know that what he said he will do. The way he's acted in the past, he will act in the future. He is unchanging. And so as we come to him, we come with that knowledge. And that is a foundation that we can rest on. And we can build our lives and our prayers on. God is faithful. God is unchanging. That's who we worship. Be blessed.